Hello everyone and welcome to this video presentation about SAASPASS. SAASPASS is the only full stack identity and access management platform on the market. Actually, if we go over this definition, you will be finding out we meant every word in this definition. Since it is the only full stack, many of the identity and access management solution in the market, they are covering part of the solution. Like some of them is more single sign-on, some of them is more about identity and about multi-factor authentication, some of them about privileged access management, PAM, etc. But SAASPASS is actually about all those things, all these areas, all actually integrated and developed in a seamless way. So you will be able to integrate all your needs under the umbrella of identity and access management system with SAASPASS without the need to integrate more than one product and deal with how to integrate them, how to make them working together in better way, and even if one of those products will come up with a new version and you need to upgrade, then you need to test everything again, etc. So everything here made by SAASPASS, and it's actually meet all your requirements and needs in terms of identity and access management system, authentication, authorization, and actually also the access rights management and also privileged account management, etc. So actually it is a platform. We say the platform, why? Because in different ways you can extend the functionality of SAASPASS. You can extend the integration, you can extend the functionality itself. So we have SAASPASS is fully configurable product. So with the configuration from the SAASPASS admin portal, you can configure and make this solution, make SAASPASS work and tailor it to your actually needs and requirements. Also, SAASPASS has a way that you can develop a script, a code, in order to extend the functionality of SAASPASS, and we will be coming over these things in details in the next slides. Here there's also another two concepts that I would like actually to talk about while defining what is SAASPASS for you. So SAASPASS actually targeted to be a passwordless architecture, and it is password architecture. But here there is an exception that we'll be talking about. SAASPASS dream of and actually has a vision and mission to transfer all the entities to have their own password architecture. That SAASPASS is fully supporting it and has all the functionality to support and to come up or to use such an architecture in your enterprise or in your university or in your any entity. So the password architecture, what is passwordless architecture? Is the architecture that you did for your entity that's make everything, all the authentication, authorization, the access, the login, without the need to use of static credentials, only static credentials. Like, and this is what we mean by the password, using the password, the classical way to log in to many of the systems by providing the username and the password, whether this password is your enterprise password or it is your Active Directory password. But here, why there's an exception, I would like to tell you this from now. If SAASPASS password architecture and actually enable you from reaching a password architecture in your enterprise, so why we are saying why SAASPASS is actually has some feature that you will see in the next slides, that it supports some of the password and enterprise password features Why? Actually, because the market is not about SAASPASS, but about the market. The market is not ready. Your enterprise, your entity, using a lot of applications, and not all of the application ready to move to the passwordless architecture. So this is a temporary support. SAASPASS actually is supporting those functionalities, so it's enabling you from reaching the goal of full stack. So you don't need to deal with other softwares to support those applications that they are not supporting the passwordless architecture and the multi-factor authentication. So this is why SAASPASS has all the feature for you, even if there is application that they don't have, or they are not able to integrate with the multi-factor authentication with the passwordless architecture. Zero trust security model. Actually, this is another concept that we would like to explain to make you understand SAASPASS better. Actually, and one of the main features and the main big advantages of SAASPASS, in addition to the passwordless architecture, in addition to the to be a full stack solution or platform actually that's extendable. You can extend it and you can tailor it to your requirements and needs. So the zero trust security model is mean that to get rid of all those rules that we were dealing with and we are dealing with currently in the enterprise, in any entity. Like, for example, if the user is coming from inside the network, then don't apply multi-factor authentication and let them log in with static password or even without a password. If they are coming from outside, then let them log in with a password, force or challenge them to provide a static credential, or force them to even log in with multi-factor authentication. So SAASPASS would like you to get rid of all these things. Actually, we are supporting. We have policies, and we are supporting all those policies. Like, for example, to say that what to do and how to challenge those users, which security level they will be facing when they are in accessing a specific application from inside a network, or from outside, from a specific IP, from a specific country, city, or geographic location. If they are specific, they are accessing in specific times, etc. The zero trust security model is like that. Challenge the users always with the highest security, anytime, everywhere. They are accessing from anywhere, from everywhere, whoever they are. So this means that we are applying, like, for example, the multi-factor authentication to everyone. Why? Because before, there's such high-level security layers, such as the multi-factor authentication, the usability was really difficult and not as high as it is now. So at that time, challenging the user always, even they are working inside the office, for example, and you are challenging all them to provide multi-factor authentication, like they log in and they provide their username, and then they provide their static password, and then you send them an SMS, and they need to wait for the SMS, get the SMS, and then get the one-time password from the SMS, and then type it. And some of them was even using the TAN list. They have a printed one-time codes, and they need to they follow a sequence, and they mark which one-time code they used, etc. So that's really a lot of headache, and many of the user failing logging, and it took them a lot of time to sign in. So, but with the current multi-factor authentication, and specifically the current technology of SAASPASS actually offering a high usable and very easy to use multi-factor authentication login methods. For example, you in the application or any system, you will be able to show a barcode. So once the user open their SAASPASS mobile application and just scan the barcode, then they will be able to log in without providing any static information. So just scanning a barcode is a complete multi-factor authentication login. It's even easier than using the classical way of just typing a username or an email address and a static password. So this is why SAASPASS actually brought to you high security, but also at the same time high usability. Before there was the dilemma between security to having a high security or high usability. Now with the SAASPASS, you can have both high security and high usability. So what is the full stack of SAASPASS as IAM platform? So this is a list of the main models that we have in SAASPASS. So we have the main one, that's the multi-factor authentication. We have also the single sign-on, and it's actually secure single sign-on. In other video presentation, I spoke about this. What is this? So it is when you log into any of the single sign-on channels, like the web portal or the desktop application or the mobile SSO with multi-factor authentication. So you are not allowed to access to the single sign-on. That's very important and very critical, with classic way of providing only static credentials. So this is why we call it secure single sign-on, because all the doors, the main doors for the single sign-on channels is going through a multi-factor authentication and a high security. We have, as we mentioned, we have the enterprise password manager. So for any application or any system that they are not supporting the integration with multi-factor authentication, so we are supporting them in the classical way of static password. But here we're increasing the security a bit more than the classical way, since those passwords could be, SAASPASS is by itself actually is a password wallet that could store the password for the users, and even the admin could set that those passwords should be provided by SAASPASS for the users when they are accessing the systems, so they don't need to know those passwords. So in this case, you can make very complex passwords. Normally, we are targeting to make very complex password to make it more secure, but the problem here, it's really hard for the user to remember those passwords. So there is a dilemma between either you make it complex, and then in this way that the users, maybe they take a note, or they write it in a post-it and put it on the computer, or this is very classical way, and there is a lot of jokes on the internet if you see it, and this is actually real. It's not just a joke. So this is why you need to make it complex for security, but you need to make it something that the user could remember without note it somewhere, or without using very classic things. Don't allow them to use their name, son names, daughter names, birth dates, etc. So SAASPASS enabling you with this enterprise password manager. How? By setting very complex password, and the system SAASPASS automatically will be creating those passwords for the users, or maybe any system or any application that creates those complex passwords, SAASPASS could be integrated with, and SAASPASS could be the password wallet for that, and SAASPASS will be providing those passwords instead of the users while they are logging to applications or to systems. Also, SAASPASS has a shared access manager where all the access of the users could be managed, and as we said before, that's SAASPASS, as we said before, that SAASPASS actually is targeting to give you a zero trust security model, but again, it could manage the access for specific groups in Active Directory or in the SAASPASS directory itself, also, and could give a lot of things. But here, actually, the shared access manager is mainly about you have account, and you need to share the account or the access among users, not one user. So normally in this case, what you can do is, in the classical way, to share the password between those users. So who logged from where, it's impossible for you, difficult or impossible for you to audit that. But with the SAASPASS Shared Access Manager, you can actually share, instead of sharing the password, you share the access to those applications and systems among a specific group of users or among different employees. So they don't need to know the password, and they will not be providing the password while accessing. SAASPASS will be doing that, but in this case, they will be logging first to SAASPASS, and SAASPASS will be doing that. In this case, SAASPASS giving you the ability, a full ability to auditing those accesses. So instead of that, so in spite of that, the account or the application access is shared among many users, you will be able to know which user access at that time. Directory services. SAASPASS has a full directory services implementation. So SAASPASS by itself is a directory, and it has its support. Even it can add not just as an LDAP server, it could be also used as a domain controller, and instead of the domain controller. So it's a full replacement, could be used as a full replacement to the active Microsoft Active Directory or any LDAP server that you are using. But still, SAASPASS could also be integrated and used with any LDAP server or with the Microsoft Active Directory by downloading the SAASPASS agent. And actually, this agent will be syncing your on-prem or cloud directory with the SAASPASS directory, and you can manage everything either from that directory or from the SAASPASS directory. Access policies. We have all the access policies that we mentioned, even if SAASPASS is targeting to enable you from getting rid all those and wasting your time with these things by enabling the high security from everywhere, anywhere, anytime. But still we are supporting those, since there is many application and many system, they still need to use such control policies. So we have a full set of those control policies that you can use for accessing, for example, your computer remotely, to apply those rules when you are accessing remotely, or you are accessing locally, physically actually from next to the computer, or you can access while you are accessing a specific application. This is one of the other models that actually differentiates SAASPASS from other products. SAASPASS has a full endpoint protection. It has a full protection to Windows computers, to the Mac computers, and also Linux computers. So when you accessing your computer, you will face, instead of the classic login screen, you will see the SAASPASS multifactor login screen. That's the barcode, the push notification, login, etc. So all those multi-factor authentication methods, you will be seeing them in front of you. So if we get an example here, actually, just to show you, here you see this screen. This is a screen to log in and accessing one of the applications on a Mac, but this will be something similar. This is Google Apps, actually, the Google G Suite access screen. So SAASPASS, you're accessing your G Suite, your user accessing the G Suite through the SAASPASS multi-factor authentication, so they can scan a barcode, or they can get a push and actually approve the push, or they can log in with SMS or with hard tokens, USB tokens, etc. So SAASPASS has really very wide number of login methods. So the same will be, you will see similar screen to log into your Windows computer, to your Mac computer, to your, also you will be able to log in with multi-factor authentication to your Linux SSH coming back to the that also, by the way, one thing to mention that the computer protection with the SAASPASS, all the different models that you are seeing here, they could work all together in integrated by default by SAASPASS, but you'll be configuring them, which models to work with which model and which model you'll be using from SAASPASS. SAASPASS is not about take everything and use everything. No, you can use any of those models, SAASPASS for any of those models, and even you can integrate SAASPASS with other products actually. But here, for example, I will give example about how to use this integrated models. For example, you are using the secure single sign-on, SAASPASS secure single sign-on, and you are also using the SAASPASS endpoint protection for your computers, whether they are Mac or Windows. So in this case, you can integrate both models. So once I log in as a user, I open my computer, I will see the barcode, the push notification, the USB token or whatever. So whether I will plug a USB token and press on it, or I will be scanning a barcode or getting a push notification and approve it from my mobile, once I log in inside the computer, the secure signal could be triggered and I will be automatically accessing and opening my secure single sign-on channel, and this will lead that to one button click to access to any application or any system I have or I assigned an access to. PAM, Privileged Access Management, actually SAASPASS has all the features that the Privileged Access Management system has. Like, for example, you can set your session recording. This is another example of how to integrate the models together. So you log into your computer in a secure way with SAASPASS, with multi-factor authentication, then it will trigger automatically the single sign-on channel, but also it could also trigger the privileged access management system, and also it could start depending on which group you are in and how you are accessing this computer, as an RDB remotely or locally. So it will even can start the session recording as a text session recording or screencasting session recording as a video recording. So all those features could be integrated all together. So in the PAM, SAASPASS has session recording, text and video session recording. It has also this controlling actually and granting, revoking the access to the privileged accounts, etc. SAASPASS with all those models, actually it has rich reporting tools and also audit trail. It could be, you can use the SAASPASS reporting tools, but also you can integrate this into any SIEM tool if you are using another third-party SIEM tool. SAASPASS, actually, when you access the admin portal to configure SAASPASS, you can use different kind of admin types, such as the super admin. So SAASPASS admin portal could be accessed by different admins, and those admins could have different types and roles. You can have a super admin, you can have an admin that will be managing a specific organization unit or a specific group of users, or managing applications, specific applications, or they could be a developer just to deal with the in-house developed application, custom applications, and like that. SAASPASS has another dimension by securing the personal perimeter. So for the users that they have their social media accesses, like they have a Facebook account, a Twitter account, etc., they can also use a SAASPASS in securing this account, because actually you know that there's some social attacks, so they can, if they will be able to reach into the personal email of your user or into the social account of your users, they may get benefit from this in attacking your company. So actually, just only doing your entity security, corporate security and enterprise security will not be enough. You need also to push your users to have a better security on their for their personal use and for their personal accounts. and also more. SAASPASS, for example, what we talk about more, even SAASPASS, even going outside the umbrella of identity and access management system. SAASPASS, for example, has the secure access. So SAASPASS could be used to actually not using any RDB tool, and just only using SAASPASS, you will be able to access your computer remotely from a web browser in a secure way without using any software. And also you can, when you access your computer, you will be allowed to use a specific number of applications. So all that could be done by SAASPASS without the need to use any other tool. Like, for example, you don't need, in this case, to use the Citrix storefront and Citrix. For that, you maybe need to use the family of Citrix, like to achieve all these things that I said. That you need to use Citrix storefront, and you need to use also to use the Citrix Zen app and Citrix Zen desktop, and you need to integrate them with a security platform or security products that offer you the secure access for those systems. So all those existing with the inside SAASPASS, and you don't need to use any of those products. This is just an example about the extra functionalities that SAASPASS has. So now we give a brief about the main models and the main functionality of SAASPASS. Now we will be looking into the details of some of those functions. So multi-factor authentication. So with the multi-factor authentication, actually, SAASPASS has a soft token, a mobile and tablet app for iOS and Android that you can download. So this will be enabling you to use the following login methods: manual OTP for the offline support mainly. So you are in the plane, you are flying, you don't have any network access. So in this case, as you can the screen here, the one-time password that's typed here is time-based, and you can type it into the application or into your computer to access the computer or to access the application, while if this application could work on offline. So any of your, of course, your computer could work online, so you can log in with this manual OTP in online cases. If you don't have camera in your phone, so for example, you cannot scan the barcode, and you would like just to type one-time password, so you don't need to wait for SMS or whatever. You just open your SAASPASS mobile application, you type the PIN that you have for the SAASPASS, and then you take the one-time password here and type it inside that application. Push login, that you will receive a push message, push notification, and you need to approve it to access. You scan the barcode, encrypted barcode, login with remotely. Here we have a remote buttons to log into your computer. So even if you are physically away from your computer, you can click a button here to lock or unlock them. Also, we have other ways of login, from app to app, mobile app to app login, calling a web URL login, proximity with the BLE 4.0 on app board. Also, we have the SAASPASS OpenID Connect that will enable you to have a SAASPASS login button. Also, we have a variety of login methods for a specific application, actually. SAASPASS also has a legacy support for the old Java, MIA, and BlackBerry phones. That's software application or mobile application actually work with manual OTP only, one-time password, since the old phones, they don't have that good camera or that good technology to rely on, like push. They don't have the push server. So this is why we are using that one. But this is for the countries that they still have those phones in use for their users. Also, we are supporting the hard tokens, the legacy hard tokens, the regular hard token, the HOTP, the TOTP, and also we are supporting the new generation of USB tokens like the FIDO and non-FIDO, actually. And also we are supporting for a specific product like the Ubico OTP parameters. Also, we have support for the biometrics methods, Face ID, Touch ID in iPhone, fingerprint on Android, and facial recognition on the Android. So we have a wide support for soft token, hard token, USB tokens, SMS, one-time passwords, biometrics methods for as a multi-factor authentication to be used to log into the computer, to log into your application, to log into your systems. The multi-factor authentication actually could be integrated everywhere with SAASPASS. The most important part is that SAASPASS is ready for all those kind of integrations, but that application should have any way of integration, like maybe they need to support one of the standard protocol like SAML or SIEM or radios, etc. So you can integrate your network tools and product like VPNs, RDP, any device, network device or application that using radios or supporting radios protocol. You can add the SAASPASS multi-factor authentication to your Wi-Fi captive portals, the access to the Apple Mac computer, including the offline login, Windows computers, Linux SSH, many of the web and mobile apps, etc. So all these things that you can see here could be integrated, and you can add the multi-factor authentication to them. This is including not just the third-party applications and systems, but also the applications and systems that you developed or you are developing in-house. So we have the SAASPASS RESTful APIs that you can use to integrate your application and add all the models to them, like you add them secured login with multi-factor authentication, and also to be part of the single sign-on. Here we already talked about this one, and you have actually also you can use our this methods, MFA methods for approval workflow, not just as multi-factor authentication login access and access methods. For example, you can have the real-time user approval, the two-man rule approval, multi-person, etc. For the inside your company. Actually, here one thing I forgot to mention. Sorry about that. That's our RESTful API has a lot of example. You can go and visit developer.saaspass.com, as you can see on the bottom of the screen here, developer.saaspass.com, and it will explain the whole RESTful API that we have for integrating the multi-factor authentication, the single sign-on, to do account management, provisioning, deprovisioning of users, and also to do mobile integration, because in that website you will find the SAASPASS mobile SDKs for iOS and Android both. Also, you will find a lot of codes in Python, PHP, .NET, Java for how to integrate your application on which the programming language you used with the SAASPASS. The secure single sign-on of SAASPASS actually has a support of role-based access control, attribute-based access control, web portal single sign-on. We already talked about that. We said that SAASPASS supporting a lot of channels. SAASPASS as a single sign-on. SAASPASS has the web portal as a single sign-on channel, mobile, SSO, browser extension plugin, SSO, desktop as a Mac and Windows native, desktop native SSO, client, etc. SAASPASS also has a lot of integrations in the market. This is really very important. SAASPASS has the most number of pre-built SAML integration. It has more than 1,700. I'm talking specifically here about the SAML protocol, because if we talk about everything, all the products, this is hundreds of thousands pre-built integration with SAASPASS. In addition to that, SAASPASS also has its own actually generic protocol. So it's even more than 1,700 as SAML, because it has the generic SAML. So any application is not existing within this list of 1,700 plus, then you can on your own follow the generic instructions and you can integrate, do SAML integration for that application, even if it's not exist there, because we have a pre-built generic custom SAML for you to use to integrate to any application or any system that support SAML. The same applicable for radius. We have also a custom radius that you can use to integrate any system or any application that supports radius, and it's not exist within our catalog. Enterprise Password Manager. We talked about Enterprise Password Manager a lot actually, but let me give you a brief again. That's so for the application website that they don't have support to any protocol or any way, they don't have API to support it with the SAASPASS MFA, because as I mentioned before, our main goal always is to integrate with the highest security. MFA security is actually higher than the Enterprise Password Manager. Enterprise Password Manager is higher than the classical way of just having a credential, static credentials, but still not as high as the multi-factor authentication. But since there is a website in the market, an application that you need to use or that you are already using and you cannot get rid of them, so this is why we have the Enterprise Password Manager for you that you can integrate with such applications. So you will be using SAASPASS as a password wallet for you and as access management manager to those applications and those websites. And we already have, as I mentioned, over 100,000 web application pre-built and ready for you there. But you can add any application or any website, even if it's not exist in this wide catalog. The shared access manager, as we explained before, is to share the access instead of sharing the password or the static credential among users. So you'll have the advantages of auditing the users. Directory services. SAASPASS is a full directory implementation and could replace any LDAP product or even the Microsoft Active Directory itself. It has it's a universal directory. It's support the user identity and attribute management. It could be integrated in any LDAP. It could replace or integrate with any LDAP system or Active Directory. You have the support with SAASPASS for the multiple Active Directories, so you can integrate more than one Active Directory at the same time and manage them from the same location, from the same place. Metadata directory, Office 365 integration with the directory of Office 365, with the G Suite, etc. A lot of those features that we talked about. Access control policies. SAASPASS has, even SAASPASS, as we mentioned before, that it's built on the zero trust security model, but still it's give you the actual wide functionality and support for access control policies. So you can build your control policies in SAASPASS in very easy way for any application, as a location-based, as operating system-based, device-based, time-based, network-based, IP address, whitelisting, blacklisting, country whitelisting, blacklisting, browser whitelisting, blacklisting, device whitelisting, blacklisting, algorithm restrictions, custom. You can build your own custom policies and apply them for applications or use the generic one that we have, etc. Endpoint protection, as you can see here, this is a Mac and this is the login screen to the Mac. So normally with the Mac you see different screen totally. So SAASPASS is actually replacing the login fully to your Mac or to your Windows, and instead of the login to the classic Windows or Mac in the classic way, you will be able to log in with in secure way and in usable way by scanning a barcode or by Bluetooth or just a remote control. Just even if you are not physically next to your computer, remotely you can lock or unlock if the admin actually allow this feature for you. It's depend on your security configuration by your enterprise or your university. Also, we have a login with push, login with hard tokens, USB tokens. All the multi-factor authentication are supported with the login to the your computer. And also, the most important here is about we are supporting the login computer as online and offline. I explained before, and also locally and also as a remote login when you're accessing as RDB. Also, one more point here, that's the login to those computers could be protected with SASPASS, whether they are part of the network and they are connected, joined a domain controller or not joined to a domain controller. In case if they are not joined to a domain controller, then they will be joined to SASPASS and you will be able to manage them from the SASPASS admin portal. And actually, SASPASS has a full support. It was the first company to have a full support necessary for the NIST DFARS 800-171. And also, actually, even this is supporting for the USB tokens and also FIDO and non-FIDO algorithms. Even for the Linux, you can add multi-factor authentication to the Linux SSH access. PAM, we said that SAASPASS has the password manager, the shared access manager, self-ID password manager for end users, so you can manage even the AD password or allow your users to manage their AD password their own, so the admin will not know, or they will not need to know those AD password manager, or they could be added by, actually managed by the admins, depending on your company security setup. Password vaulting is one of the main functionality of SAASPASS. Authenticator code vaulting. SAASPASS is not just vaulting the password, also the vaulting the authenticator code. It has text and video session recording. It's auditing, managing all the privileged access and get complete record of all actions. Store, organize all privileged identities in a centralized vault. Securely share password with the members of your team on need basis, and we already explained that. Automatically could reset even the IAD password. As you can see, that there is a lot of functionalities there. All those functionalities actually, at the end of the day, need to give you logs, usage data, and reports, and also audit trail. So SAASPASS has all these things. It has centralized audit trail, user audits, administrator, application usage, etc. But again, you can also export or integrate those with any SIEM tool you are using. SAASPASS supporting a different admin types like super admin, developer admin, application admin, etc. Finally, is about the securing the personal parameters, password manager, authenticator 2FA for personal website and mobile apps, HOTP, TOTP support, etc. Actually, SAASPASS actually is trying to secure your personal data, accounts, accesses, as much as it wants to secure the company or the enterprise applications and systems. So this is actually important to get a look here. Like this is SAASPASS, as you see, it's one product that has all the functionalities, so it's a better way for you instead of having different solutions and you need to integrate them. So SAASPASS has all those functionalities, all those models that you need in the identity and access management system world. So instead of putting single sign-on top of another MFA on top of another another computer protection on top of another directory management, etc. So all these functions is actually exist in SAASPASS, and they are integrated in for you and ready to use. So you just need to configure them and use them according to your requirements. Actually, SAASPASS, so with this full stack actually delivers a more comprehensive and wide range identity solution than any other product in the market. This is why it is the only full stack, and it is a single integrated turnkey solution. So it is easier to deal one product, the SAASPASS, better than dealing with many products and integrating them. So SAASPASS also actually reducing the complexity for the user, for the admins to manage the accounts and manage the security perimeters of the company, and also for end users, make their life easier by logging with a scan barcode only and without the need to remember a password or to do an extra waiting for receiving SMS or whatever, etc. So we said it's reduced the complexity for both admin and also users. Also, SAASPASS actually is offering you the security and convenience. So, as I mentioned before, it's offering you it's breaking down the dilemma of having whether to have high security or high usability. So it's offering you both the security and convenience, the personal and enterprise security, both in one product, the desktop and mobile, the cloud and on-premise applications. They support the integration for both Mac and Windows, iOS, Android, soft token, hard tokens, offline, online, remote local accesses, digital and physical accesses. SAASPASS could be even integrated with physical products like the access to your office, the access to the building. Could be integrated with the SAASPASS and could be integrated with the SAASPASS multifactor authentication, single sign-on on all other models. And even with the computer access protection, as I said, depending on your usage scenario and your requirements. So we talked a lot about the different kind of login methods that SAASPASS is supporting and how it could be integrated with the different systems and different applications. It supports 1,700 plus pre-built application, but as I mentioned, this is not the only number that SAASPASS support, and this is the highest number in the market if you compare with the other competitors, but also with its generic SAML, generic radios, other generic and custom protocols that you can use, even integrate others, and with the adding the other protocols is even over 100,000 pre-built application integration actually. This is some examples about the main popular applications. It could be integrated with SAASPASS as pre-built, the Salesforce, G Suite, AWS, Office 365, Dropbox, etc. SAASPASS actually provide seamless security. So SAASPASS is integrated in a seamless way. We mentioned this word many times because it's really very big advantages for your enterprise or for your entity. All data transferred to and from SAASPASS are encrypted with enterprise-grade standard. SAASPASS has its own security methods, encryption methods that increase the standard and the grade of its security and its encryption. SAASPASS has an innovative way of using the PIN that the user, it's not storing actually the PIN of the mobile application when when the end user download and install the SAASPASS mobile application and they identify a PIN. SAASPASS is not storing that PIN anywhere, neither in the device itself, the mobile device, nor in the SAASPASS server. And how SAASPASS could be verify if this PIN is correct or not? It's the SAASPASS innovative way of actually using this PIN code as part of the key to encrypt and decrypt data. And this is how SAASPASS could use this as an extra parameter that nobody uses as a key. So this is a key that only the user kept on their minds. So nobody can have, there is no footprint on those pins that they are part of the key for encryption and decryption. SAASPASS actually has the main goal of protecting the data privacy. So SAASPASS has actually SAASPASS.com itself has different geographical location servers, and actually is serving the users from its approximate servers. Individual SAASPASS user could delete their own data from the mobile application itself without the need to go to their company or to the SAASPASS itself. So if this information or accounts about the company, then the admin or admins of the company, that they are able to manage those data or delete them. But if it's personal data for the users, then the end users, they will be able to delete it from the mobile application. If those data for the in SAASPASS is about the company, then the admins could delete them totally and dispose of them. The company and personal applications are isolated in silos, so admin could not have any access to any of the personal data, and the credentials or the access to the application and the data that belong to the end user, even if those users, they are employees in that company. So the admins, they will be able only to access and manage the data about those employees that belong to the company only, not belong to them. For example, an admin could not access or see the authentication code or remove or add the Facebook personal account of a user that they added in the same SAASPASS mobile application. So the SAASPASS mobile application actually for both, for personal and company applications, but they are both strictly isolated in silos. SAASPASS has no access to the company data because all the data on the database servers, they are fully encrypted with certificates. That those certificates, they are actually auto-generated automatically when the company registered. So all the data in the database are encrypted with those certificates, and when even the SAASPASS admin, DB admins, when they got a look to the database, or anybody could, if suppose, even SAASPASS has a lot of actually security levels and layers, even anybody will be able to reach those data. This will be useless because they are encrypted with highly standard and with enterprise grade actually. Thank you very much for listening to me, and actually there's a lot of demos in our YouTube channel. So SAASPASS will help you moving beyond the passwords with this product that is the only full stack identity and access management solution. Thank you very much, and hope and wish to see you in the next presentation.